Hi all, my name is Anthony, and this is my attempt and foray into, I guess, what you call podcasting. I have no experience whatsoever, and to the extent, I guess, I don't even know what I'm doing, but I just want to try it. And the reason why I've reached this stage is because I've been working for the past 30 years. I guess you can calculate my age now. Of which those 30 years of which the past 15 was as an entrepreneur. I've recently left my job, and I'm just taking stock of what I should do next in my life, in my career. It's a bit of it's a bit strange because to a certain extent, like I just mentioned, I don't really know what to do. And I think there's a lot of people out there who are actually still in a job, or worse, they're out of a job, and both situations, they don't know what they want to do. And so I just thought I'd sort of create this podcast, or this casual talk with everyone, and to share ideas, share my experience, share my ups and downs, my happiness, my struggles, my sadness, and in a way, it's for me to, I guess, it's almost like a diary, my own personal diary, but in a digital way, as opposed to writing it all down. And hopefully, I can share some of my ideas and to stimulate your thinking. I'm not here to teach anyone anything because I'm not qualified to do that. I'm not, yeah. So this podcast, I mean, it's basically unedited. So you'll be hearing a lot of and even maybe dead silence from but I don't even know what to name this podcast yet. So I just want to be as genuine, as authentic, as close to whoever's watching me as possible, as opposed to having all these editing and all that kind of stuff. So I'm out of a job. I'm a little bit disillusioned with corporate, having been there, having been with corporate or in the corporate world for the past, like I mentioned, 30 years. Maybe I'm even in a midlife crisis. I don't know. I don't know what midlife crisis feels like, because I've never had a midlife crisis, maybe until now. So maybe this is what it feels like. So now that I'm in this situation, maybe I'm trying to reinvent myself. But in doing that, I've been putting some thought into it. I mean, I've been on a career break for the past 5 months. And the first 1 or 2 months, I was like totally cleansing my mind, just not thinking about work, catching up on things which I wanted to do, did a little bit of traveling. And now that, several months has passed, number one, I'm getting pretty bored. Number two is, it's about time I think I should start to think and do something else. But in doing this next stage in my career is, what is it going to be? Like I mentioned, I'm a bit disillusioned with the corporate world, so I'm not too sure I want to get back in there, because it's the same crap but a different name, if you know what I mean, for different companies. So I just want to do something hopefully meaningful, and I really want to do something which is truly mine, which nobody can take away from me, whether it's a failure or whether it's a success. It's all down to myself to make this happen. That's one thing. And at the same time, hopefully I don't want to sound so noble in that I want to help people, but I just want to help. Number one, I want to share what I'm going through, share my journey, and at the same time, hopefully, the most important thing is to stimulate your thinking. In this podcast or in this talk, whatever you want to call it, there's really no right or wrong answer. I mean, there's no script. I'm just speaking from the heart. I think that's the most important thing. That's the most genuine thing, as opposed to speaking through the brain. Because once you speak through the brain, you start to edit things, you start to process things. But when you speak from the heart, it's it's all true, right? It's all emotion. So that's something which, I guess, a little bit of a background into why I'm doing this, bit of a background into myself. Maybe if this podcast, if this thing, has some sort of momentum and it carries on, I'll share more about myself and all that kind of stuff. Sometimes we are forced by circumstances to do things. I'm sure everybody has ideas in your life, whether you're in a stable job, whether you're happy. In the back of your mind, there are certain things which I believe that everyone wants to do, and it might be out of the ordinary. But the thing is, you don't want to leave your comfort zone. Things are good. You don't want to sort of rock the boat, so that really interesting idea, or that even the passion which you have, you put it aside for a while. You actually put it aside because you're in your comfort zone, and maybe you're earning good money, stable income, and you don't want to sort of like get off the bandwagon and then jump into the ocean. I totally get that. So, but sometimes, like I just mentioned, things happen due to certain circumstances. In my case, I quit my job, and I'm trying to take stock of my life into what I should do next. And because of that, that is a circumstance which has forced me into this position now, whereby I'm thinking, what the hell do I do next, right? And I've always wanted to do something which was more, I guess, how should I say, open in the sense that talking and sharing publicly. I mean, that sounds really stupid maybe, but that's something which I have a passion and I have an interest for. And so and then you think, if there was another company which gave me a high paying salary, would I be doing this now? Would I be talking to you now? I don't know, right? And given the economy now, the geopolitical situation everywhere, it makes people think. And for me, that's exactly what's happening. It's making me think into, maybe I should do what I always wanted to do. Maybe I should do something different. Yeah, that's why I'm here now. So things happen for a reason, and circumstances force you to do things which you would not do otherwise if it was in a normal, situation. Yeah, so that's where I'm at now. Again, this is unedited, guys, so please bear with me if I stutter, if I'm thinking, if I'm moving around, if I'm not as eloquent as I should be. But yeah, that's it. I don't even have a name for this podcast yet. I've got certain ideas. Maybe I can call it Raw AT because it's really raw. Just the whole concept of this podcast is it's just like a free flow talk, like what normal people do, as opposed to scripted, as opposed to very good lighting, as opposed to high editing, whereby it's perfect, right? Well, this is not going to be a perfect talk, but I think that's what will be interesting about this, because nobody's perfect, and I just want to make this talk or podcast, whatever you want to call it, to be like just normal people talking to each other. I mean, when you talk with your friends, you have a beer or what have you, it's not edited, right? It all comes from your heart. So there will be dead air. There will be stuttering, which I'm doing now. Hopefully I'll get better at it. Like I said, it's my first time, so so there's no real structure. Hopefully it's very down to earth, very natural. I want to be as close to you as possible. to minimize the sort of emotional distance, right? Not like I'm preaching to you, I'm talking to you, I'm talking with you. So hopefully, you can feel a connection, and then, we can strike a chord. We'll talk about everything. I will talk about my failures, how I turn those failures into, small successes, what I've learned. I have no idea where this is going to go. It could be a total flop. This could be my first and last podcast, but I'll keep trying, because, in a room of 100 people, all 100 of those people have ideas. Everyone has ideas, good or bad, amazing or not, unique or not, novel or not. Every person has an idea. However, less than one of them actually executes on that idea. And so that's what I'm doing now. I'm executing on an idea, executing on a whim, on not a whim, on what I want to do. Because sometimes, for me, whether at night or sometimes after a drink or two, all these ideas start coming, and at that point, it sounds amazing. It's like an amazing business plan, amazing idea, but the next day, it's gone, right? But imagine if you actually, carry on with that small thought the next day, right? Start to plan for it, but most importantly is to do it, right? I recently saw a 8-second short clip, somebody asking Tom Cruise on the red carpet, how he succeeds, how he works in life. He basically says, make a list of the things you want to do, right? And under that, each item, make a list of the things that you need to do to make that particular thing a success. So you list it all out. Everybody is afraid, because what are you afraid of? You're afraid of the unknown, right? You don't know these things, you don't know. But and then he goes on to say, but the most important thing after the list is actually going out and doing it. That is the most important thing, all right? So, because you never know, right? So that's why I'm here now. I'm going out to do it. For me, it's almost like, this voice in the back of my mind saying, just do it. But then the other voice says, how are you going to do it? What if you fail, right? What if, your friends and your ex-colleagues, they all see you in the theater and they think, oh man, get a real job, all right? So, but I've sort of like stepped out of my comfort zone, and actually, doing the thing which I want to do. There's no right or wrong answer. Everything in hindsight is 20/20, as everybody knows. You just never know. So that's what I'm doing now, is I'm stepping out and actually trying it, because if you don't try, you don't know, right? Again, the format, the structure of this podcast, the sun's sort of going down now, so there's some light. So like I said, I don't edit this stuff. What's the format of the podcast? Should it be 3 minutes? Should it be 8 minutes, 15, 30, 1 hour? Should I have guests? I like to have guests, but depending on how this goes, maybe we'll have guests going forward. I don't even know what to call it. Like I said, I'm not a podcaster, but I think I'm good with just talking with people, because I feel comfortable with talking with people, and I like to I think I'm pretty good at minimizing dead air. Maybe just talking with you by myself, maybe there's a lot of dead air, but I think I'm a pretty good communicator, and so yeah, I mean, like I said, I like being in front of a camera. You know, in the past when I did interviews, press interviews, you know, media interviews, what have you, I have no qualms about being on stage, um, and yeah, I mean, all of this, what I'm doing now, actually, it's you know, it's fun, it's scary, it's energizing, it's the unknown, and for me, that's what's intriguing because you know you never know. Maybe this would be my slogan for this part. You never know. You never know, guys. You don't. But the thing is, if you don't do, you really do. You really will not ever know. All right. So just do it first. That's what I'm. That's what I'm doing now. Um, and I've been thinking. Again, this is my first one. You know, we're at 15 minutes already now, but I'm rambling. So I'm sorry. But I'm thinking about a format to this. I will have a specific topic um, every time, and the objective, the fundamental, I guess, DNA, if you would like, of what I'm doing now is hopefully I can just talk about everyday stuff, like normal stuff for normal people. I'm not interviewing celebrities or athletes, maybe in the future, but now I mean it's just a very down to earth, very simple, very basic a talk about everyday stuff, right? Which happens to everybody. Um, that's the philosophy of this talk. Um, um, so yeah, I mean, this is my first foray into going out into the public. Hopefully I can continue to talk with you guys, stimulate or even be stimulated. Because I think when I'm talking like this, it helps me as well because it helps me think, it helps me share, it helps me connect, it helps me learn. Yeah, I mean it sounds good so far. I mean, I'm at 17 minutes now. There was no rehearsal, not much of a, not even a script. You see me going back and forth because I'm actually pressing my computer because I have some notes, but it's not rehearsed. It's very, very raw. That's why I'm thinking I'll call this Raw AT. Why AT is because my name is Anthony. My last name is Zhang, starting with a T, so maybe it's Raw AT. Yeah, I mean, this is what I'm setting out to do. So, yeah, hope you, if you're still here, listening to this, give me some advice. Let me know what you think. Would you be interested in something like this? Something really basic, talking about everyday, normal, average people stuff. Yeah, I mean, again, the geopolitics, the economy, everything is not so good right now. And I think there's a lot of people who want to share, want to listen, who want to, bounce ideas off each other, and more importantly, is to be stimulated. Again, I'm not saying I'm way up here. Who am I, right, to stimulate you? But if I'm just a normal person, and I just want to talk about normal stuff in a normal way, and in that sense, I think there's something there where we can stimulate each other, and there's no right or wrong answer. And once that stimulation is there, then maybe you can go on and do what you wanted to do, or maybe you can do what you're doing now even better. And maybe you can stimulate you to have other ideas, or to have those ideas which you put in the attic, mental attic, and bring it out and have some sort of impetus to actually go and do it. All right. Yeah, so I guess next step for me is actually naming this podcast. Number one. Number two is thinking of a specific topic. I've actually listed some topics which I have an interest to talk about and to share with you. Number three is I'm still thinking about which platform should I put this on? YouTube, Threads, IG, Facebook, you know, it's still a question mark for me. Like I said, guys, this is very, very new to me. But the fact that I've stepped out and started to do this, I think, yeah, I think I'm in the right direction. This could be the first and last podcast. This could be the start of something very interesting. Yeah, just normal people talking about normal stuff in a normal way. See you guys next time. Bye.